The stars above the corn belt looked cold and distant, as always. The mining colony sat on the edge of known space, far from the central planets of the Galactic Union. Nothing exciting ever happened here. The workers woke up, mined ore, and slept again. Life was slow. Life was safe, until the sky burned. Rin was fixing a power unit when the siren started. He looked up, confused. As a streak of fire cut across the sky, it was fast. Far too fast to be a meteor. It wasn't scheduled. Either. The sky turned orange, and the ground trembled as a huge object crashed into the nearby ridge. Dust filled the air. The sirens kept screaming. People shouted and ran toward the landing zone. Some carried weapons. Others grabbed medical kits. Rin didn't run. He just stood there, heart racing, eyes wide-eyed. It wasn't a normal crash. It was a starship, black, wide, covered in strange markings that didn't match any known species. It had no signal beacon, no identification, just burn marks and silence. Is anyone alive in there? One of the guards shouted. The metal door of the ship groaned, then slowly fell open. Smoke spilled out, and then she stepped out. Tall, thin, alien. Her skin was dark gray, smooth like stone, and her eyes, four of them, glowed faintly under her long, silver hair. She wore no armor, no weapons, just a torn suit and a strange collar around her neck. Everyone froze. The guards pointed their guns, hands shaking. A medic whispered, "That's not possible. She looks like the one from the war." The name wasn't spoken, but everyone remembered the stories. A creature from the last border conflict. A being said to destroy battleships with her mind. A monster feared by entire planets. She was supposed to be dead. But here she was alone, silent, looking round the colony like a lost child. "Get her in the cage," the officer barked. They used drones, not wanting to go near her. She didn't resist, didn't fight. She simply lowered her head and followed, her steps heavy and slow. Rin watched all of it from behind the fuel tanks. He wasn't a fighter. He wasn't brave. But something about the way she walked didn't seem dangerous. She looked tired. He kept thinking about her eyes. They didn't look like the eyes of a monster. They looked like the eyes of someone who had lost everything. They locked her in a reinforced energy cell. She didn't move much. She sat in the corner, back against the wall, staring at nothing. Guards watched her day and night. Some laughed at her. Some stayed far away. They gave her no name. Just a code, Subject 7. But Rin didn't like that. She needed a real name, a gentle one. He started calling her Mira, quietly, when no one was around. Rin's job took him all over the station, and sometimes that included checking the systems near her cell. At first, he tried not to look at her, but each day, he noticed small things. She never spoke, never attacked when they brought food. She waited until they left before eating. When lights flickered, she flinched once. During a loud drill test, she covered her ears like it hurt. She wasn't a monster. She was scared. One day, Rin saw her looking at a bird that had flown into the station's greenhouse. It was small and colorful. Mira watched it with quiet wonder, as if it were the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. That was the moment Rin was sure she wasn't who they said she was. Days passed. One morning, Rin noticed her water bottle had rolled just out of her reach. The guards ignored it. They didn't care. Rin hesitated. Then, during a systems check, he bent down and gently pushed the bottle back toward her through the food slot. She looked at him. Really looked. All four of her eyes focused on his face. She didn't smile. She didn't speak. But she gave a tiny nod just once. Rin nodded back. That was the first time they shared a moment. The others still whispered about her. They say she destroyed an entire moon. She's just waiting to escape and finish what she started. They should have left her to die in that wreck. But Rin knew better. He didn't say anything. He didn't argue. He just kept doing his job. And every now and then, he left her small signs that someone was still human in this place. A better food packet, a small plant near her window, a warm blanket on the cold nights. Mira never said a word, but sometimes She would place the items neatly in a corner. Like she understood, Ren couldn't explain why he cared. Maybe it was because no one else did. Maybe it was because he saw her soul, not just her face. One night, as he walked past her cell, he saw her standing at the window, the stars reflected in her eyes. She turned her head slightly, just enough to see him. For the first time, she spoke. Her voice was soft, strange, but clear. "You're not like them." Then she turned back to the stars. Ren stood there, stunned-eyed. It was the first thing she had said since she arrived, and somehow, it felt like a beginning. The next morning, Ren arrived at the control station early. He couldn't stop thinking about Mira's voice from the night before. She had spoken to him. Just one sentence, but it meant everything. No one else had heard her speak. No one believed she could. They thought she was silent because she had no emotions. But Ren knew better. She chose silence, maybe because no one had ever listened. Ren sat near the monitors, pretending to check energy levels. But really, his eyes kept drifting to camera 9, the one that showed Mira's cell. She was awake, sitting with her legs crossed, back straight, her gaze calm. She didn't look angry or dangerous, just patient, waiting. He wondered what she was thinking. Did she remember her home, her people? Did she miss someone? "Why are you always watching her?" Ren jumped. It was Kara, one of the younger guards. She stood with her arms crossed, looking suspicious. "I just check all systems," Ren said quickly. Kara narrowed her eyes. "She's not a system. She's a threat." Ren didn't answer. Later, when no one was around, he walked past Mira's cell. She looked up. Her eyes followed him. All four of them. There was no fear, no threat, just a quiet awareness. He paused. "Are you all right?" he whispered. She tilted her head slightly. "They did not ask that." Ren blinked. "I'm not like them." A pause. Then Mira said, "I know." Her voice was slow, each word carefully chosen. It sounded strange but peaceful. Not what anyone would expect from someone the galaxy called a monster. "Why did you come here?" Ren asked. "I did not come," she replied. "I escaped." Later that day, the scientists arrived. They entered the room with data pads and scanners. Ren watched from a distance as they tried again to make her speak, to test her strength, to learn her secrets. Mira said nothing. When they left, one of them laughed. "Still silent. Useless." Another added, "She's not smart. Just lucky. A weapon without a brain." Ren's fist clenched, but he didn't say anything. He knew Mira had understood every word. Her eyes had not changed, but there was something colder in them now. Back in the maintenance room, Ren sat quietly. He looked at his small notebook, where he kept notes on system repairs, and began to sketch something. Not wires, not circuits. He drew Mira's face, not perfectly, but gentle, calm, not the monster others saw, just a being alone and misunderstood. He tore out the page and folded it. Later that night, during his last round, he placed it inside the slot near Mira's cell quietly, quickly, hoping no one saw. The next morning, the paper was gone, and Mira was looking at him in a way that said everything. That evening, the lights went out. Suddenly, without warning, the alarms didn't ring. The backup power didn't kick in. Everything went dark. People shouted. Some ran toward emergency stations. Others froze. The mining colony had never experienced a full blackout. Ren grabbed a flashlight and headed toward the lower sector. That's where the power core was and also where Mira's cell was located. The corridors were full of shadows. Doors didn't open. Vent systems stopped. Only small red lights blinked in emergency corners. When Ren reached the detention area, he stopped. In shock, Mira's cell was open. The energy field had vanished during the blackout. Her door was wide open. The room was empty. Ren's heart pounded. Had she escaped? Had the others been right all along? He ran down the hall, turning corners quickly. He had to warn the others before someone got hurt. Then he heard a sound. A soft cry. He turned into a hallway near the storage zone and stopped. There was Mira, on her knees, her arms wrapped around a small child who had gotten lost during the panic. The child was crying, clearly scared. And Mira, she was protecting him, not threatening, not fleeing, just shielding him with her own body. Her eyes met Ren's. No fear, no anger, just a quiet plea. Help. Ren stepped forward slowly. It's okay, he said softly. I'm here. The child looked up and saw Ren. I was hiding, the boy sobbed. Then the lights went out. Ren nodded. It's all right, you're safe. Mira gently let go of the child, who ran to Ren's side. Ren placed a hand on the boy's shoulder and then looked back at Mira. Come with me, he said. Mira stood slowly. Together, they walked through the dark halls. Ren led them to a quiet maintenance tunnel, hidden from the main guards. He knew this place well. It was safe for now. He gave Mira some water and sat nearby. The child had already fallen asleep. You could have run, Ren whispered. I could have, Mira agreed. Why didn't you? She looked at the child, then at Ren. Because I'm not what they think. Ren nodded slowly. I know. When power returned an hour later, the guards rushed to Mira's cell and found it empty. Panic spread across the station, but no one thought to check the old tunnel in the engineering wing. Ren stayed beside Mira until morning. They didn't speak much, but something had changed between them. She had trusted him, and he had seen her soul. The lights returned to full brightness by morning. The colony was filled with noise boots running, radios buzzing, officers shouting. Everyone was looking for her. The monster, the alien, the thing that escaped, but they didn't know the truth. In a hidden maintenance tunnel, Ren sat beside Mira and the small boy, who was still asleep, curled up near a power pipe for warmth. Mira had not moved much. Her tall form sat silently against the wall, her arms resting on her knees. She looked calm, but Ren could feel the heaviness in her eyes. He broke the silence gently. They'll search every room. Mira gave a slow nod. Then I will leave. Before they find me. Ren looked at her, unsure. Leave where? There's no ship here, she said softly. But I will find a way. I do not want war. I never wanted it. Ren didn't ask questions yet. He just sat with her, trying to understand. You saved the boy, he finally said. Mira looked at the sleeping child. He cried for help. No one came. You came, Ren said. She looked away. I remember my own. Long ago, she was small. Like him? Ren's heart sank. You had a child. Mira did not speak for a long moment. When she finally did, her voice was quiet. She was taken. During the first attack, I was not there. Ren lowered his head. There was nothing he could say. No apology that would matter. After a short silence, he reached into his bag and pulled out a dry food bar. He broke it in half and offered a piece to her. She stared at it, then took it carefully, almost like she didn't want to break it. She ate slowly, each bite quiet and thoughtful. Why did you help me? She asked suddenly. Ren blinked. Because no one else did. That is not a reason. He sighed. Maybe not, but I don't believe you're a monster. Mira tilted her head. What do you believe? I believe someone hurt you first, and the galaxy blamed you for surviving. Mira didn't reply, but for the first time, something small flickered in her expression. It looked like trust. An hour later, Ren guided her through the old tunnels toward a service room only engineers used. The child was taken to the medical wing quietly and told the medics he found him alone. No one asked more questions. Back in the service room, Mira stood by the window, looking at the stars. They shine the same, she said, no matter where you go. But they feel farther now. Ren watched her carefully. Where are you from? Mira hesitated. A planet you do not know. We call it Shalina. It means quiet earth. We were peaceful until others came. Who? Mira's voice grew tight. The Union, soldiers, machines. They said we had energy they needed. They took it. We asked them to leave. They didn't. Ren understood now. The war didn't start with Mira. It started with greed. He had heard similar stories before. Small planets swallowed by the Union. But those stories were buried deep, told only in quiet rooms. They said you destroyed ships. Ren said carefully. Mira turned to him. I did. Only after they destroyed our skyport. My people had no more ships. no way to run. I fought because I had to. And now, I am tired of fighting. There was a long pause. Ren walked to a storage crate and sat down. If they catch you again, they won't listen. I know. They'll say you escaped. That you attacked the boy. I know. Ren looked up at her. So we can't let them find you. Mira stared at him. You will help me. Yes. Ren said, even if they call you a traitor. He nodded. They already think I'm strange. This won't change much. For the first time, Mira's smile it was small, faint, but real. That night, Ren didn't go back to his quarters. He stayed with Mira, drawing maps of the colony from memory. There were old ships stored in the far hangars. Most didn't fly anymore. But maybe, just maybe, one could. We'll need time, he said. Mira nodded. I will wait, but not too long, Ren warned. If anyone finds us, I understand, she said. Then, softly, thank you. He looked at her. For what? For seeing me. Outside, the guards searched every sector. The leader, Commander Heska, grew more angry by the hour. Find the alien, she barked, or heads will roll. Some believed Mira had escaped off-world. Others thought she was hiding in the vents. But none guessed the truth, that she was right under their feet, in the old rooms forgotten by time. And with her, a human who believed in something more. As the station lights dimmed for night cycle, Ren rested on a floor mat beside a quiet Mira. Before sleep took him, he whispered one last thing. You're not the monster the world feared. Mira, eyes open, and watching the stars through the old window, whispered back, and you are not the kind of human they warned us about. The old service room felt warmer now, not because of the broken heater Ren had fixed, but because it no longer held just silence. It held something new. Trust. Mira sat near the wall, her long silver hair falling over her shoulder. Ren sat across from her, cleaning an old data tablet. They hadn't spoken for some time, but it wasn't an uncomfortable silence. It was peaceful. Still, questions filled Ren's mind. He finally spoke. Why didn't you tell them the truth? Mira looked at him. Because they would not listen. But someone might have, he said quietly. No, they already chose what they wanted to believe. Ren nodded slowly. The stories about you, they're everywhere. People say you burned ships from the inside, that you can control minds. Mira's face didn't change. Yes, that is what they say. But none of it is true, is it? Mira looked down at her hands. Her fingers were long and elegant, but strong. Some of it is, but not in the way they think. Ren waited. Mira began to speak. A long time ago, she said softly, our people lived in peace. We had no weapons, no armies. We lived by the rivers and under trees that sang when the wind passed through them. Ren listened closely. When the Union ships came, we welcomed them. We gave them food, water, shelter. But they did not come for peace. They came for the energy beneath our soil, what you call core dust. I've heard of it, Ren said. Very powerful, very rare. Mira nodded. To them, we were standing on treasure. So they gave us a choice: leave our home or be removed, and you stayed. Yes, we had nowhere else. So they sent machines, destroyed our fields, our waters. Then soldiers came. Many were taken, some vanished. My daughter was among them. Ren's eyes widened. They took your child. Mira's voice grew soft. I searched for her, for weeks, but there was nothing. No name, no voice, just silence. Ren felt anger stir in his chest, not toward Mira, but toward the people who caused her pain. People who wore the same uniform he once trusted. I had nothing left, Mira continued. So I stopped running. I went to the skyport. I took one of their ships. I flew to their fleet. And I made them listen. Ren leaned forward. How? I did not control minds. But I learned to control machines. The Union used neural tech. We studied it. We improved it. Ren understood. You linked your mind to their systems. Yes, I did not attack their people. I disabled their weapons. I shut down their engines. But they panicked. They destroyed their own ships trying to stop me. And blamed it on you, Ren whispered. Mira looked at him. With tired eyes, a weapon is easier to blame than a mistake. There was a silence between them. Ren let her words settle in his heart. He no longer saw her as strange or different. He saw her as a mother who had lost everything and a survivor who carried her story alone. He stood up and walked to the corner where his old tool case sat. He opened a side drawer and took out a small metal disc. This, he said, holding it out, is a signal key. It connects to the hangar systems. If we find a working ship, this can unlock it. Mira took it gently. Thank you. I'll help you find one. But we have to move soon. The guards are searching the tunnels now. Mira nodded. I'm ready. They waited until the station entered low cycle mode of time when lights dimmed, and most staff went to rest. Ren wore his old tech suit. Mira pulled the hood of an engineer's cloak over her head. Together, they moved through quiet corridors. Avoiding cameras and patrols, Ren led her through hidden backways, vent ladders, locked storage routes, maintenance bridges no one used anymore. Finally, they reached the old hangar. Dust filled the air. Most of the ships were broken. Some were missing parts, others had been stripped for scrap. But in the corner, under a heavy tarp, stood one ship, small, but whole. This is it, Ren said, checking the panel. Cargo runner. Model B9. Not fast, but it works. He handed the signal key to Mira. She placed her fingers on the panel. The ship hummed softly. Lights flickering to life. She responds, Mira said. She wants to fly again. Ren smiled. Just like you. They climbed inside. The cockpit was dusty, but the systems were stable. Mira ran her hands over the controls like she knew them already. I can pilot this, she said. But we need time. Ren checked the station grid. You have maybe 2 hours. After that, security will notice the power spike. Mira nodded. I will be ready. Ren turned to leave but paused. After you leave, what will you do? Mira looked at him. I do not know. I will search the outer systems. I will listen for whispers of my people. Maybe someone survived. Ren's voice was quiet. If you find them, what will you tell them about humans? Mira paused. Then she smiled gently. I will tell them I met one. As he left the hangar, Ren felt something deep inside shift. The galaxy was large and broken, but somewhere in that darkness, the strangers had found light, and it was enough. The old hangar felt like another world, quiet, still, hidden from the noise of the station. Inside the small cargo ship, Mira worked calmly. Her long fingers moved across dusty panels, checking each control. The engines were weak, but not dead. With care, she could wake them again. Ren stood just outside the ship, watching the door. He had set up a scanner jammer nearby to block any alerts, but it wouldn't last forever. How long? He asked quietly. Almost ready, Mira replied. The power cells were dry, but I'm charging them now. Ren nodded. He looked back toward the hallway. The hangar door still showed green safe, but that could change at any moment. Across the station, the mood had shifted. The missing alien was no longer a secret. Everyone knew. The guards were tense. Drones scanned every level. Commander Heska was furious. She's still here. Heska shouted in the control room. I don't care how deep she's hiding. Tear this place apart. Officers moved quickly. Sector by sector, they searched every hallway, every storage bay, every locked door. They didn't know yet, but they were getting close. Ren returned to the ship's cockpit and sat beside Mira. The lights on the panel were brighter now. A soft hum ran through the floor. She's waking up, Mira said. I can open the hangar doors when you're ready, Ren offered. Mira looked at him. Her four eyes searched his face, calm but serious. You have done more than enough, Ren hesitated. There's one thing I haven't done. What? He took a breath. I haven't asked you to take me with you. Mira blinked slowly. You want to leave the station? I don't belong here anymore. Not after this. She studied him for a moment. You would leave your world. For me? I'm not leaving for you, Ren said. I'm leaving with you, if you'll let me. Mira was quiet. Before she could answer, the silent alarm flashed red on the control panel. Ren's heart jumped. They found us. The hangar door buzzed. From outside, voices shouted orders. Drones moved. Boots slammed the ground. They were here. Go, Ren said quickly. Fly now. Mira stood. What about you? I'll hold them off. I'll lead them away. If I go with you now, they'll shoot before the ship lifts. Mira's face tightened. They will take you? Maybe. Maybe not, but I can give you time. No, she said. You've done too much. Ren stepped forward. You said you'd tell your people you met a human who saw you. Don't let that story end here. She stared at him. Then, slowly, she opened the ship's side hatch. Come back one day, she said. I'll try. She gave a small nod and then Ren ran. He left through the side exit, sprinting down a service hallway. As soon as the patrol spotted movement, they chased him. There, it's the tech worker. He helped the alien catch him. Ren kept running. Behind him, engines roared. Mira's ship was lifting. Guards turned in shock as the hangar lights flashed. The ceiling door began to slide open. She's escaping, someone shouted. Too late. With a sudden burst of light and sound, the cargo ship rose off the ground and blasted into the sky. A few shots were fired, but none landed. The ship disappeared into the stars. The alien was gone, but Ren was not. They caught him in the hallway outside the hangar. He didn't resist. Commander Heska stared down at him, her voice cold. You helped her, yes? Ren replied. Why? Because she wasn't the monster you said she was. Heska shook her head. You've just thrown away your life for nothing. Ren didn't answer, because he knew it wasn't nothing. He was taken to a holding room, alone. No windows, no sound. Hours passed. Then a quiet voice came through the speaker. We'll decide your punishment soon. Ren sat on the floor. His wrists were tied. His tools were gone. He had nothing now. Except hope. Somewhere out there, Mira was free, and that was enough. Far away, in deep space, Mira sat in the pilot's seat. Stars stretched before her. Behind her, the old mining station grew smaller and smaller until it was gone. She placed a hand on the console. Thank you, Ren, she whispered. Then she set her course not for home, but for the edge of the known galaxy. There were others like her out there. She would find them. And maybe, someday, she would return. Back on the station, something unexpected happened. Some workers started to talk. They whispered stories not of a monster, but of an alien who saved a child, of a human who helped her escape, of truth hidden behind orders and lies. One by one, people began to question what they were told. Ren's silence said more than words ever could. In time, his cell door opened. An old man stepped in, a worker from the early days of the station. He said nothing at first, just placed a tray of food on the table. Then he spoke quietly. I saw what you did. It was brave. Ren looked up. The man added, if she ever comes back, I hope she finds peace. And then he left. Ren sat alone. Once more. But he wasn't afraid. He had made his choice, and maybe, just maybe, the galaxy would change because of it. The cargo ship moved quickly through the dark stars, cutting a bright line across the blackness. Mira sat at the helm, her eyes steady on the controls. The small ship wasn't made for speed, but it was steady and strong just like her. Behind them, the warning lights blinked red. The Union fighters were closing fast. Mira said, glancing over her shoulder at the man sitting beside her. He was working on the engine controls, pushing buttons and flipping switches. They will catch us if we stay in open space. Ren didn't look up. I know. We need to hide. There's a storm belt not far from here. It's dangerous, but it can cover us. Mira nodded. Lead the way. The storm belt was a swirling mass of rock, dust, and electrical storms. Pilots avoided it because ships often broke apart in its turbulence. But now, it was their only hope. Mira adjusted the ship's course and dove toward the storm. The fighters followed. Lightning flashed through the clouds. The ship shook as it passed through thick dust. Sensors went wild, sending warnings about interference and system failures. Ren worked quickly to stabilize the engines. Hold on, he said. Mira gripped the controls tightly. Her eyes flicked between the storm and the approaching fighters. The enemy ships fired pulses of energy, trying to lock on. Mira swerved left. The ship groaned under the pressure. Ren fired the ship's small defense drones. They flew out and formed a shield around the cargo ship, intercepting some of the enemy fire. One of the fighters exploded in a flash of blue light. Mira allowed herself a brief smile. The storm twisted and turned. The cargo ship dipped through swirling winds and crashed past huge rocks. Ren's hands were steady on the engine controls. We're close to the center. If we get there, the storms will hide us. Mira nodded. Keep steady. Suddenly, a huge bolt of lightning struck the ship's wing. Sparks flew. The lights flickered. Damage, Ren shouted. Systems failing. Mira pushed the ship hard, diving toward a narrow canyon where the storm was strongest. The fighters struggled to follow. Inside the canyon, the ship shook violently. Rocks scraped the hull. Mira focused on flying, ignoring the pain in her arms. Ren patched systems as fast as he could. Almost there, he said. Just a little more. Outside. The enemy ships lost sight of them. The storm hid their signals. After tense minutes, the storm cleared. The cargo ship floated in a dark space between asteroids. The fighters had stopped chasing. Mira let out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. We made it, she said softly. Ren smiled tiredly. Thanks to you. Mira looked at him. And you? They rested briefly. Mira checked the ships. Damage. Some systems needed repair, but it was nothing they couldn't fix. Ren looked at the stars outside the cockpit. We need to find a safe place to hide and plan our next move, he said. Mira nodded. I know a planet. Small. Green. Uninhabited. It's not far. Ren smiled. Let's go there. The journey was quiet. Mira and Ren worked together, fixing the ship and sharing stories. Mira told Ren about her people, the peaceful world she came from, the war that changed everything, and the hope that kept her alive. Ren shared stories about his simple life on the mining colony, his dreams of adventure, and why he decided to help her. They laughed sometimes. They listened. After hours, the green planet appeared on their screen. It was beautiful, covered in forests and rivers, untouched by machines. Mira guided the ship down through the atmosphere. The air was fresh, the ground soft and green. They landed in a small clearing surrounded by tall trees. Outside, Mira breathed deeply. Home is not here, she said quietly. But this place will be safe. Ren looked around. It's perfect. They began to unload supplies from the ship and set up a small camp for the first time in a long time. Mira smiled freely. Night came, and the stars shone bright above the quiet planet. Ren and Mira sat by a small fire. The child they had saved was asleep nearby, peaceful and safe. Ren looked at Mira. Do you think they will stop looking for you? Mira shook her head. No. But here, they cannot reach us easily. Ren smiled. Then we will be ready. As the fire crackled, Mira spoke softly. Thank you, Ren, for seeing my true soul. He smiled back. Thank you for trusting me. They both knew the galaxy was still dangerous. But here, on this quiet planet, they found hope. The green planet was quiet under the light of distant stars. Mira and Ren had built a small shelter beside a gentle river. The soft sound of flowing water and the rustling of leaves filled the air. It was a peaceful world away from war and fear. The child they had saved played near the edge of the forest, chasing small creatures and laughing freely. Mira watched him with a calm smile. This place was safe, for the first time in many years. She felt hope. Ren sat beside Mira, polishing a simple tool. We've been here a few weeks, he said. Do you miss your home? Mira looked up at the sky. I miss the stars of Shalina, but I am learning to love this place. It is quiet. It feels like healing. Ren nodded. I think people will remember you differently someday. Not as a monster, but as a hero. Mira smiled softly. That is a good story. Back on the Galactic Union Station, the story of Mira and Ren had spread quietly. Some believed the monster was dead or lost forever. Others whispered about a strange alliance between a human and an alien. No official record was made. No grand speeches given, but in small corners of the galaxy, miners' bars, starship ports, and faraway colonies the tale grew. It was told quietly, with respect and hope. One day, a small ship landed near Mira and Ren's camp. A figure stepped out, a scout from a distant world. He had heard the stories and came to see if the rumors were true. Mira welcomed him warmly. "We are not alone," she said. "There are others like me, others who survived." The scout smiled. "Then together, we can rebuild." Rin watched the meeting quietly. He felt pride in the woman beside him and hoped for the future. As days passed, Mira and Rin worked with the scout to send messages to hidden survivors across the galaxy. They shared news of safe places, of friendship, and of a future without fear. The galaxy was vast and full of danger, but it was also full of courage and kindness. One evening, as the sun set behind tall trees, Mira and Rin sat by the fire. Rin turned to her and said, "Do you think we changed anything?" Mira looked at the glowing embers. "Yes, because someone chose to see the soul behind the fear." Rin smiled. "Then the stories will never end." Far from the quiet planet, the Galactic Union continued its work. Some leaders questioned their past actions. Some soldiers wondered what really happened in the Corn Belt. But no one could deny that one human's kindness had sparked a change. Mira stood at the edge of the river, watching the stars reflect on the water. She whispered, "I'm not a monster." She smiled, and for the first time, she felt truly free.